what is the next step for Thailand and Cambodia?
Oh, at this point, we have appointed the two conciliators. People started to be superstitious. So once they looked at the term Law of the Sea Treaty and they saw the initial LOST, which you can read it loss, right? So suspicious people decided to say, no, let's not do that because we will never have a treaty in that case. So let's call it United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. So that was how it changed the name. And the other important aspect of the report is that since the Conciliation Commission is not a court, the report will not be legally binding, but it has moral binding. You know, the whole world will see.
Right, and how long do we have to wait before we can see the result?
Well, first of all, the appointment of the chair has to be done within a month.
Right.
And then once that is done, then there is a 1-year period.
How do the strategic approach of two nations compare, Thailand and Cambodia? And both sides have appointed their UNCLOS teams. What happened next? And if we compare, though, Thailand's team to Cambodia's, who do you think brings the stronger strategic advantage to the table, sir?
I think the 4 individuals that have been appointed, 2 by Thailand and 2 by Cambodia, are experienced individuals with very high reputation, individuals that have been involved in the law of the sea. Some actually have been judges in the Law of the Sea Tribunal. But in addition to that, a couple, one from our side and another one from the Cambodian side, had been involved in the conciliation process between Australia and East Timor, Timor-Leste. You know, East Timor or Timor-Leste and Australia were the first 2 countries to actually use the conciliation option, the compulsory conciliation option under UNCLOS. So yes, I believe that all 4 are very qualified international lawyers.
Well, if you go back to 2016, the first time that UNCLOS has been used by Australia and Timor, as you said before, to resolve the maritime disputes, and how does that previous case compared to our case?
Well, I think we have to be mindful of the tendencies of international law. International law has been progressively developed, and in the olden days, of course, international law was based on customary international law. And UNCLOS came into being with the task of codifying traditional international law, customary international law. That's the process that is known legally as codification. And the other task was, the term would be progressive development of international law. That is actually going beyond codification. Codification is seeing what the law has been and writing it down. Progressive development of international law is to write in new laws. So they're dual purposes. So this is something that we have to be mindful of. There is a change. In the olden days, we had the 3-mile rule for territorial waters, and then we had the expansion into exclusive economic zones as well as continental shelf. And so the traditional method of delimitation between two countries would be the line of equal distance drawn from the baseline of each coast. Equal distance, meaning you have equal amount of territories. However, the move at this point is to use another principle to delimit the boundaries, and that is known as the equitable principle. And as it's now been written in UNCLOS itself, the wording would be equitable solution. Now, the key difference is that equal distance means sharing the land on an equal basis, on just looking at the area of the land. Okay, you divide the area into half, more or less, that's equal distance. But equitable solution means taking into consideration the economic aspect of the area as well, meaning the natural resources of the seabed, and subsoil, which means that the line may not be equal distance. For example, if we have more oil and gas deposits in one country, country A may have to give up, when the line is finally drawn, a bit more territories because they want to divide the resources equally too. So it's a key word. Equitable solution means taking into consideration the location of the resources of the ocean as well.
So it's likely that Thailand-Cambodia case will adopt that equitable distance from Timor-Leste and Australian case.
That was a bit of a precedent setting in a sense that was how that case was resolved by using the equitable solution. But in addition to that, if one goes back to the wordings of UNCLOS in regards to the delimitation of maritime boundaries between two countries regarding continental shelf as well as exclusive economic zones, the wording explicitly stated in those articles would actually be equitable solution. So it's already expanded to that.
Right, and if we talked about UNCLOS, the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, before this is actually LOST, and they decided it's not a good name, so they changed to
that
UNCLOS.
was back in the 80s
Right.
when there was an attempt to have a convention, a treaty. The original name of the UN used was Law of the Sea Treaty. However, because of the complexity of the situation, complexity of coming up with a document that all countries would accept, people started to be superstitious.
Right.
So once they looked at the term Law of the Sea Treaty, and they saw the initials, LOST,
Lost.
which you can read it, lost, right? So suspicious people decided to say, no, let's not do that because we will never have a treaty in that case. So let's call it United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. So that was how it changed the name.
Right, so now we got a good name, UNCLOS. What is the next step for Thailand and Cambodia?
Oh, at this point, we have appointed the two conciliators. So the next step is now for the two conciliators from our side to discuss with the other two conciliators from the Cambodian appointment to come up with a fifth person who would be chair. So actually, parties to UNCLOS had the ability to appoint 4 conciliators into the list that the Secretary General of the UN holds. And then the guidance is that the 4 conciliators, for our case, would try to look at that list and come up with a very able person from that list to become the chair. So that person will become the chair. And don't forget that the report will be written, and if there is a vote on the report, it's majority. So it's 3/2. It's a majority vote. And the other important aspect of the report is that since the Conciliation Commission is not a court, it's not a court, the report will not be legally binding, but it has moral binding. You know, the whole world will see what the commission more or less came up with as far as the report is concerned. And there is a requirement under UNCLOS that the parties, in this case, Cambodia and Thailand, will then negotiate further using the report as the basis for negotiation.
Right, and how long do we have to wait before we can see the result?
Well, first of all, the appointment of the chair has to be done within a month.
Right.
And then once that is done, then there is a 1-year period in which the report should be coming out. But this 1-year period can be extended with the mutual agreements of the 2 parties.
Okay, thank you for your time. Appreciate your help. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.